Hi, how are you there? So today we will continue to our next meeting. It's about listening skill. But before we go reach the main point of today's meeting, I will remind you about the foundation of business communication. Thus, you could understand why listening become a very significant part of communication. Why we have to learn about to listen? Because many people thought that communication is about how you speak, how you present, or how you write, but it's not about the listening itself. But today I will give you some explanation about why listening become a very fundamental part of communication. Okay, so look over this ads first. Okay, here's the advertisement of AirAsia. Say that we're giving away a plant. So here, some of you will questioning why they're giving away a plant. But when you read thoroughly, it is about how you could win a place for you and also your friends to fly using AirAsia. So it's just like how they put the word like we are giving away a plane, but actually they give you a seat or seats, not only one because it could be for you and your friends actually. So some people who didn't give enough attention will be confused about wow they give me a plan, so how should I do, where should I put the plan, how much does it cost, or how could I use it for future benefit, something like that. So it's not about that. You have to understand the concept, the message, because sometimes what they write is not the in the real intention, but they have like further develop the objective of the content. Next, you see this as well, the advertisement of Coca-Cola. But if you look again, they put the wording unlock the 007 in you. What does it mean? Anyone? Okay, because this is not a real class, so I could not choose one of you. So I will answer that this ad is basically because Coca-Cola sponsor 007 movie or a James Bond movie. And you can see the circle in the back of Coca-Cola. It's the sign, the symbol of James Bond in every movie. So remember that in every communication, it lies meaning behind it. So, because you are learn about communication now, especially in the business context, not every word have the same meaning with that word. Like it always something lies behind the words itself. Why is that? To communicate it also have to understand the process. You know that communication itself is the process of transferring information and what is the meaning between sender and receivers using one or more written, oral, visual, or electronic media. But this is the main point. You can see there are three circles here. The sender is who is the speaker. The message is what is the main point or what you say. Receiver is what I hear. Sometimes the lag is in this 3 point. For example, you have your friends. Let's say her name is Anna. Anna said that this afternoon she would go to she would go to a beach, for example, because in the beach, like we could say like Pantai Baru. Okay, so Anna will go to Pantai Baru to visit a friend who live near the Pantai Baru because her friend is sick. Okay, so that is the point. Anna, the sender, said that she wants to go to Pantai Baru because one of her friends who lives there is sick. But you, as a receiver, didn't give full attention to that. So what you hear is Anna wants to go to Pantai Baru. And then you assume that, oh, everyone go to Pantai Baru because they want to have a vacation. You didn't listen about the latter word because she said she want to visit a sick friend. Okay, you see in here, um, every message because it's transformed from one to another person may decrease its real meaning. So it would be like very easy to get like um, miscommunication. Like I assume that you once or twice had miscommunication with your friend, because remember the message is sometimes is not fully reached by the other parties in here. And then you then remember about the gossips. Remember, gossip is when stories comes from one person to another person, something like that. Or in communication, we call it word of mouth. And then like today's in the digital era, we remember the concept of hoax. Hoax is also one of the problem which arise because of lack of listening skill, which then continue from one to another person and then just going like that over and over again. So you can see in here that in the medium in here, after the communicator or the sender send the message, so this is the process of sending name encoding. In the medium, there will always be noise, which then cause a message could not fully reprehend by the receiver. So when there is a problem in the medium itself, it will create a different feedback. So it would be like very important for you as a receiver listening, so you would not get the wrong ideas or message. But basically, what is the barriers? What is the noise in the process of communication? There's a lot. In the communication business, there are actually, we could say, four barriers. The first barriers is organizational. There could be a negative organizational climate, so the condition or environment in the organization itself is not healthy. Many people talk behind the other person, for example. Or there is no communication policy. So there's no like exact rule how to communicate to each other. It could also create a barrier or problem. Excessive authority layers. So there's one person who has more power than the others. And filtering, there's too many filter, like kasak kusuk, maybe in Indonesian, or maybe gossiping. It's also part of filtering. And then what is the individual barriers? Maybe difference in personality, because remember, everyone has their own diversity, everyone has their own background, which would create differences. And the different perceptual, how a cognitive people cognitive process the message. It's also because of fear. Many people fear of another person. They feel attacked. There are also some stereotyping. You can check again our material about the diversity. It's about stereotyping. Hello effect. It's because the other person say A, then you will believe her or his, and then continue the word. That's the hello effect. Or the last one is inattention. This is part of the benefit of becoming a good listener, to give attention. Semantic barrier. Semantic barrier is usually because of we don't know the language, we don't know the sign or the symbol which cause the semantic barrier. In the semantic barrier, for example, you didn't know how to speak China, how to speak in Chinese language, and then you met friend, not friend, maybe a people in Malioboro Street, and then he asks you some question, but in Chinese language. That is the semantic barrier. Or for example, if maybe you have friends or family, or maybe you met a person like in the in the like busy place or something like that, and then too bad that he or she has a disability, like because he could not speak, so he used a sign language using hands, and you don't know how to do sign language. That is the semantic barrier. Okay. And what is the other barriers? Actually, it's about the too many information, like information overload, faulty expression. Faulty expression is mean like um, some students thought that Miss Ina is angry because I have like faulty expression. People know me as Jutek. But actually, I'm not angry because it's just like my face. So that is the example of faulty expression. Status or power difference, which make a people has less ability to communicate better. Negative attitude to chance, it's one of part of diversity as well. You at the first time you didn't like the person because his background, his country, or he comes from a specific region, something like that. And the last is noise. Noise is because you speak, you discuss with the person, but there's a lot of noise, like in the side of the road, like busy road, so many vehicles come and go. It will create noise. That's the barrier of communication, which then you know would be a problem during audience decode message. Remember, encoding and decoding is how message processed by the sender and also by the receiver. It could be create different meaning if you don't, or the receiver didn't give full attention to the message. You can see in here, like the person A said 3 because in the process of the sending message, the second person give full attention. He then decode the message as 3. So this is correct. It's the same. What the sender and receiver known. But there's noise. There's always problem and barriers. Be careful of that. You can have the greatest idea in the world, but they're no good to you if you can express it clearly and persuasively. That is the main objective of communication, where we should remember about it to get an effective communication. Okay. This is also a example of understanding barrier because how shared experience will affect understanding. What is the meaning, Miss? Okay, I will give you example. There are three groups. The first one is a group which little shared experience. This is a group with average shared experience and large shared experience. Large shared experience usually have an identical meaning and have high understanding. What is the example? Let's say in your class, just say that in your class, usually you will get more engaged with a friend who has large share experience. For example, uh, A came from the same high school with you, same city with you, and also you know her before. So you were in the same class with her for 2 years in the senior high school. When you become a student in Atmajaya, it will be easier for you and her to communicate and having identical jokes and higher understanding because maybe you are in the same level of knowledge with her. But then you met another friend with average shared experience. For example, she came from the same city with you, but there are no other experience shared between you and her. So the meaning quite be similar, but the understanding may be less than the A person. Because you live in the same city, but maybe in the different region, but both of you also live in a kos-kosan, for example. So you can like know how difficult her life because it's almost you almost have the same experience with her. And then you met another person, another student with little shared experience. So she is originally from Yogyakarta. She went to different high school. You are anak kos-kosan, but she is live with her parents. She is like very rich, but you are like a middle. She has like a lot of experience, but you are not something like that. So you will create like dissimilar meaning, and sometimes you will gain misunderstanding. Uh, so you know that uh, people will uh, tend to be like create group with other people who share the same experience. For example, in my life, I have a very good friend with me since we were a senior high school. We still friends during the university. We still friends during our work working time or experience office experience, and now we are like a very good friends during our motherhood era. So it's like we start from a very young age and now we are like 30s. We share a lot of experience and it is very easy to talk with them. Then if I met a new person which I didn't know before. It will create like more. It need more understanding, more communication, something like that. So it will be easier like that. This is the barrier. Sometimes some people do want to share experience, They don't want to learn more, they don't want to listen, which then affect a different understanding. Wait, sorry. Okay. But how then if we are willing to share experience with other person? So now we are trying to respond to message. If we met someone new and then we go into communication, like discuss about one or two things, you have to start to remember the message. But remember, every person have like sensory memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. It will be like very different from one to another. Maybe some people will be easily forget. Some other people will have like long-term memory, so it's difficult for them to forget it. And then you respond to the message. This is the picture about how people sharing information. A transmit meaning. If B answer, so they have like negotiated meaning. And then A try to recreate meaning. This is the flow. For example, A said the new app is on schedule. And then B thought, great, it's on schedule and I don't need to worry. So this is like a linear process, like A to B. And then in the negotiated meaning, it's a very good one because people usually have feedback from one to another. So A, for example, say that everything is fine. Okay, sounds good. Are you worried about anything? B say. Then A said, well, two designers quit, but I'm trying to replace them. Ah, I see you are still on schedule, but now there is some risk of a slip. It's a better communication because it's sharing. A, B, B, A, B, something like that. Okay, and then the last one is recreate meaning. Because A said, I think everything is fine, and then B, like, kind of like half thought, he doesn't sound confident or in control of situation. What happened? I want to know, but I cannot speak. Then it's becoming like kusak-kusuk gossip around the environment, which is not good during the business communication. Remember, having an effective communication in the company, in the business, would create a team building because we speak, because we transmit meaning, know what happened. It would create like trust in the team itself. And then it could also gain or increase the employee morale because everything is open. People know what happened, what is the problem, and what is the solution. It's also good from the climate of communication in the organization. Conflict reduction, because there's not many people who try to recreate meaning, thus it would be less conflict in the organization. Sharing ideas, it's good. A B said something, and then there's a discussion happen during the communication. It's also very good. And then the last one is relatability. Everyone know what happened. Everyone feel relate to what happened in the organization. So it's a very good thing. And I want to remind you about the element of professionalism, where is be the best, be dependable, be a team player, be respectful, be positive, and be ethical. Becoming a listener will give you and enhance your element of professionalism. Being the best means you have to listen to the other person below you. Be dependable. When people want to depend to you, they have to know that you are listening to their problem. Be a team player. When you have a listening skill, you can create transmitted communication. Be respectful. Listen to other person's problem is a respectful attitude. Be positive. See, if you are not, you didn't like to be create meaning or gossiping, try to be positive. Be ethical. So avoid any unethical. Listen to the problem. Speak what in your mind would be create an ethical communication and also become a part of professionalism. And I just want to show to you that this is the communication network. Usually downward communication is from the top to bottom, upward communication from bottom to top, and horizontal communication is from whoever in the organization. But then the things that it's not showing here is the gossiping communication. It also named as grapevine. It's not good for an organization, so always try to use formal communication network. And social communication, because we are using like different technologies in here, we are now going to the business communication 2.0. In the business communication 1.0, we always want to talk and we want people to listen. But now we have to do the transmitted communication and do a conversation. So we want to know what you think, what we could improve. I want to share my knowledge. I want to sharing about this, and I want to know your opinion, something like that. It's better for the organization practice in the future. Okay, so there's a long story about the conversation into business communication 2.0, but actually it has a very high influence, a good information sharing, a very dynamic environment. It's very collaborative and a good climate for an organization itself. Remember, with the mobile revolution, it will be like a very difficult to maintain the message, the stories, the channel, the medium, because it would be like many stories, many noise, and etc. and etc. Yeah, don't want to mention about it, but actually, you see, when we communicate one on one verbally, there are already a lot of barrier, a lot of problem, a lot of noise. But when that it added, we have now like a lot of tools for communication from website, from video conference, from voice chat, WhatsApp, Zoom, email, what else? Telegram, for example, Instagram, Facebook, podcasts. There's a lot of choice of medium. It will create more barriers of communication. So try to listen and then you know how to react. If you just like listen, not fully apprehensive, you will create like false meaning to what the main ideas or message. So now I will give you talks individually. After you listen me for the last few minutes in here, give me 5 main points about my presentation until now. So you try to rehearse your to practice your listening skill. And then try to recreate what you're understanding into 300 words in PDF individually. It's better for you not to try to replay the video, but if you think that, okay, so I missed several points, you can retry to listen it again. But then I will assume now that, and I want you to also realize that your listening skill is need to be upgraded because you are just like miss every point that I present before. Okay, so now try to do your first talk. So now after you finish your first talks, I will continue to my second part of today's lesson. It's not as long as the previous material, but actually this is more about the tips to improve your listening skill. So this is a one of nice proverb by Larry King. I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must do it by listening. Remember, a good learner is always a good listener. A good speaker usually will gain less than a good listener. So trust me, if you are have a good ability to listen, you will be like someone important in the future. How to improve your listening skill? Remember, in the listening process, it's always hearing, selecting, understanding, evaluating, remembering, and then responding. Try to practice this full circle. Every time you hear something or it means you're receiving a raw data, you have then to choose which one is the most significant information for you. Then try to understand the real meaning behind it, not only the survey's meaning, but also the meaning beyond the message. And then try to evaluate the message by analyzing, judging, and then remembering in your memory, put in the storage of your memory. Then when you have a time, always responding. A hearing without responding means your action is not fully comprehensive. This is the degree of active listening. When you are listening, no, it doesn't mean you always have to be silent. You can use a way of repeating. Repeating the message means you are perceiving, understand the concept or knowledge, paying attention, and try to remembering again. So you repeat, repeat, and repeat. Exactly the same words. Or you can use the method of paraphrasing. When you do the paraphrasing, you add another step, thinking and reasoning. Put the reason behind what you're thinking about. Usually, when you are paraphrasing, you are rendering the message using similar words and similar phrase arrangement to the one used by the speaker. For example, if repeating, it's like this: apple, and then you wrote apple. This is repeating exactly the same word, but in paraphrasing, apple could be changed using a similar word. For example, I give you a red, yummy, delicious fruits from my gardens. It's similar. Red, delicious fruits or red, round, fresh fruit. Sorry. So it's kind of like similar, but it's not exactly the same. Or reflecting. In reflecting, you are render the message using your own word or sentence structure. So you try to improvise it on what you perceive and you remember. Okay, choose your own structure. For example, if apple and then red around fresh fruit, and then in my own sentence, apple could be the fruit that I love since I was 10. It's like a reflecting. You can use your own word as long you real describe about apple. And it is the tricky part of nonverbal communication. I will give you later a video about nonverbal communication. No, not from me, but I will find another sources. However, nonverbal communication it's in the interpersonal process of sending and receiving information, both intentionally and unintentionally, without using written or spoken language. Usually, it's like body language. Nonverbal communication is body language, and sometimes you are not aware of it. Like for example, facial expression. I told you before that maybe my face is jutek, so it's facial expression. I didn't realize about it. It's part of nonverbal communication. However, you can see like you met a people, you met your lecturer, for example, and he looks like frown in a bad mood. Okay, so you could say like maybe he's angry or maybe it's like I'm not in the mood right now, so I will go to him now, maybe tomorrow. Gesture and posture. You can learn that people who welcome you will see you like direct to you, not see to another way around. And the posture, if he is open to your suggestion, usually they are not crossing their hand in front of them. Vocal characteristic, people if they are mad, they will raise their voice. If they are maybe sad, they would lower their voice, something like that. Personal appearance. You can see on the picture here that the man is has trimmed haircut, clean shave, he has a warm smile, confident, using a formal clothes, a firm handshake, and also correct body posture. You would usually thought that he is professional. Nonverbal communication also part of touch. If you have friend who is sad because of something, and then you touch her hand, and then maybe you say something like maybe your I will give like example of your maybe you have a sister she's sad and then she's crying and then you hold her hands and hug her and say that everything will be fine, something like that. It's part of touch, it's nonverbal communication. And then time and space is for example when people try to avoid you, they try to sit like far away from you, it's also a sign of nonverbal communication. However, in nonverbal communication, there is no signs. It you know because you experience it. Maybe first or second time experience is not good enough. However, by the time you could learn how that people feel just based on their nonverbal communication. So later on, see the link video. You could learn about it later. Further, sorry. And okay, this is a communicate in a group. Usually, when we learn about listening, we learn about nonverbal communication. We also try to see what type of the person inside our team role. Usually, in the team, you need teamwork. However, there are some type of person that we could identify easily just based on their attitude in the team. For example, this one, the type of dysfunctional, self-oriented. Usually, these people is very controlling, or on the other way, very withdrawing. Withdrawing is mean like he or she always doesn't care, something like that. So it's very opposite than the controlling. Attention seeking. Oh, or maybe she wants to be the most popular, want to be under the lights, or different thing, like push you away, something like that. This is the very good one, functional team maintenance. If you found your teammates is encouraging, very harmonizing, support each other, and compromising, there's no problem because they always want to listen and compromise everything based on what happened right now. And this is functional task oriented. If you find some of your friends that have a high initiation, uh, like to give or seeking for information, like to coordinate, and very procedural. If you have a team member based on or having a typical of functional team maintenance and also task oriented, it would be like very good. But be careful if you find some person like this. It will be not healthy for your teamwork. And the group development, usually it's part of orientation, conflict, brainstorming, emergence, and reinforcements. During the orientation, the members get to know each other and establish role. And then if there's any conflict, different opinion, it will be emerged sometimes, but then you could continue to the brainstorming stages when team members explore an option and evaluate alternatives, and then emergence when the team reach a consensus or choose decision, and the last is reinforcement. The team reestablish harmony and make plans. So basically, problem in the teamwork is okay as long as you can solve the problem or the conflict using brainstorming and create reinforcement in the end. Listening will also give a huge opportunity to resolve conflict. When you are a good listener, you can have a proactive behavior, you can create a good communication, you can enhance an openness environment, you can always research about what happened. A listener usually also have a great flexibility in the circumstances. They always fair play and they always have a lot of alliance. So if you want to have power in an organization, I say that you have to start to enhance your listening skill. What kind of people or what kind of leader who good listening skill and also in the end able to resolve the conflict? Because trust me, a good listener, they know what people want, so they will say what people want to hear. And I give you a very good video of Kamala Harris. I think she's a very good listener. She always said what people want to hear, and she is becoming what people want. You can see the video of Kamala Harris in here when she gave the first speech as the Vice President of United States of America. Then your next task is to identify the nonverbal communication, what it's all about, what is the nonverbal communication raised during the speech, and the verbal words which repeated several times, which show that she understands what the audience wants. So, in today's meeting, you have two tasks. Task 1 and this is task 2. Send me in the PDF format. I hope you enjoy our class today, and then I'll see you again. Bye bye.